We've all been lied to. For years, we've been told we need to get the best digital SLR, and that way you can live stream with a really big sensor, with a big lens, and it'll all look super great. Now, the reason I'm saying we've all been lied to is because of what I'm using right now. This is not a digital SLR. No, it's not my phone either. It is a $199 webcam with a 1/1.3 CMOS sensor inside, and it makes it look fab. I mean, look at it. Now, I apologize for the next bit because you're going to see my face blown up, and I'm going to use this webcam to do it. So, yeah, I'm going to say it again. This is a $199 webcam. Hey, it's JP, welcome to the channel. If you've never been here before and you want to learn all about live streaming, live looping, and all the tools you need as a modern musician, then you've come to the right place. Have a look around the channel, click subscribe, or even join the membership. Click the bell and you'll know when the next video is out. So what you're looking at is the YOLO Live S3. This little webcam has that big sensor inside. It has an all metal enclosure, so the metal is used as a heatsink, so it can just carry on going for hours on end, and it supports 4K at 30 frames or 25 and supports 1080 at 60 frames and lower. Now, YOLO Live did send me the YOLO Cam S3 out for review. They're not paying for this review, they're not seeing the video beforehand, and of course, as always, thoughts on my own. The aperture on this little webcam is insane, and the lower number the better really, and this is at f1.85. Just to put that into context, my Sony ZV-E10 is f3.5, so it works really well in low light. I've got one light on here, I've got another light on there, and I've got my LED lights around, and you can see the quality. The other thing as well is it's tracking my face just like my Sony camera does. So as I record this on QuickTime, and you can see my face is being tracked. The software is incredibly easy to use. You've got a big preview window, as you can see. And on the left, you've got your stuff. So you've got things like graphic settings, 16:9. You can do 9:16. So the camera itself is magnetic on the bottom and on one of the sides. So you just turn it and it clicks on to its own clamp. Then you've got image settings. So I can actually do things like lens shading correction, which I've got switched off at the moment. So watch this. So maybe you want this for your meeting. It's all nice and bright, but for my YouTube channel, a little bit darker, a little bit more moody. The focus I've discussed, we're on face at the moment, but you can put it on AFS or AFC. So it's on continuous in a certain area, or you can just obviously have it on AFS. I actually prefer it on face. I think it does a really good job. And I've tested it basically going all the way back, like right this way, and then sort of coming all the way forward, and it just stays on the face. It's just incredible. The zoom, as you saw before, you can go all the way up there, but you can also do hotkeys. Now you need this program running in the background for that to happen, but the nice thing about it is if you go from one to another, it doesn't just switch, it kind of glides in. Let me show you. So if you go to the settings here, we can go to hotkeys, we can turn hotkeys on, and then we can adjust. So we can actually say, let's put one there, and then let's put one, say, there. And so if I get rid of this and then I just say number 2, Digi 2, and this one's Digi 3. Right, so now I can just choose the keys and you can see it easily just switches in between. That's really cool. You can manually grab the slider. So this is the equivalent of 50 millimeters, and you can go all the way up to 98, but we're gonna pull that back. And then it does something really clever, which is called AI parameter. What this does is when you start it, you need to keep still. And what it does, it analyzes the image and asks you over the 3 different images what you want. So if I do this now and say confirm, it'll start looking at, so I need to keep really still. See, it starts to make changes and then it asks you which one do you prefer. So I'm actually going to pick let's pick that one. There we go, confirm that. And it's making some slight adjustments, and then it's asking which one do you want. Please select your sort of style. So let's have a quick look. I think they're pretty even, but we'll go with that one. So this actually analyzes the area, which is really cool because you could have a completely different setup to me. And if you're live streaming with your music equipment or your gig stuff, you could set it up as you would be performing at home or even out and about, and it works really cool. You notice that the exposure and the white balance now have gone to manual because it's picked stuff using the AI system, but you can dial in your own if you want to. Now, there is an additional feature that's not on Mac at the moment at the time of recording this, where you can really go into the coloring. So for example, the red here, you could change it slightly if you wanted to, and you can start warping the colors as well. It's only available on Windows at the moment. And then what you've got is scenes. So what you can do is you can have different scenes, and I can save this look as a scene. So we've got this right now, and I'm going to save this scene, and we're going to call it YouTube. Now let's make some changes. I'm going to do lens shading correction. So let's do that. And then let's just change the coloring slightly. Why not? Let's just make it a little bit more. Let's just make some alterations. So we do 1000, but it's a little bit brighter. And then I'm going to save that one. So if I save that scene, let's call this meeting. Here we go. Now, when I go over to the scenes, I can choose between that look and that look. So that way you don't have to then sit there and go, was it 1000 or was it this and the other? You can change the look just by clicking, and then it also has a standard look as well. So I like the YouTube one. I think it looks quite nice. Now, if you're wondering whether you should get a camera like this, there's a couple of things you need to know. First of all, there's no 1/4" thread on the bottom of the camera itself, but there is on the mount it comes with. That way you can quickly change it from landscape to portrait, no problem, without having to unscrew things. You just put it on the mount. The mount as well is designed to clip onto your monitor. I don't do that because my monitor is super tall, but it's becoming a bit of a sort of standard mount now for webcams, which has a little Z design that you can put onto either a tripod like I've got right now, or mount it onto a monitor. Now, the number one thing with this webcam that you need to be aware of is it doesn't have its own microphone. There's no microphone built in whatsoever. It's all about image. And I understand why YOLO Live have done this, because professional streamers don't actually want a microphone on their camera. They use an external microphone, like one like that for musicians, or maybe you've got a microphone here on the side that you're talking into, or a microphone that I'm using right now, which is this one, the Hollyland, going straight into the computer. So they haven't wasted any space putting a microphone in it. But for live streaming and for web and for meetings, it doesn't matter, because you're going to pick what microphone you want anyway. With it being an all-metal chassis, it's heavier than your average webcam, but that's okay, because once it's on its stand, you kind of just leave it there. And it's way lighter than a digital SLR. In fact, when you look at it from the price point, if I was to go and buy a Sony ZV-E10, I know there's a Mark II of this out there, but the Mark I right now, as of October of 2025, with the kit lens is $599. Now, most people who aren't really into cameras but want a decent camera for live streaming, this pumps out at 720, so it's not 4K, can overheat once in a blue moon, and you need SD cards if you want to record. For $599, I can buy 3 of these. So if you're looking to up your game as a live streaming thing in the studio and you just want 3 good quality cameras, then the YOLOcam S3 might be the option for you. I think this is probably one of the biggest sensors on a webcam to date. Lots of people have got, as I say, digital SLRs like mounted on their desk, or they've got tiny little webcams that actually aren't that good. So this is kind of that in-between part. You've got that digital SLR quality with a really low f-stop, which is great for low light, in a package that's under $200. If you want to go and get one, there's a link in the description box, which is an affiliated link. So if you click it, it does help out the channel, but at no extra cost to you. Now, the other thing you can do with the S3 is you can plug it into the YOLO box. YOLO Live actually made their name by making these boxes which are for live streaming. They're a complete live stream system. So much so that you can have multiple ins and even an SD card and SIM card, so you could live stream anywhere. Now, if you want to have a look at the YOLO box, have a look at this video right here.